Retraining Pain here. My name's Brian. Welcome to the vlog. Retraining Pain's about getting back into shape after being in great Ironman shape 12, 13, 15 years ago. Down 50 pounds. Today, Friday, it was a run. Got the run done. This time, it seems, I guess this is the second Friday I've been here. So I took the ferry, which is literally 2 minutes at the end of the street, took it across to Venice Beach to where the long pathway sidewalk is. Had a run. Today's weather, 24 Celsius. In where we're back where we are, apparently it's like minus 20 Celsius right now. So I was talking to the people at work on the phone, and it's just been so cold, unusually cold in Toronto. I'm running along the beach, and it's just so beautiful that I decide, you know what, I'm going to take my shirt off. I see everyone else, guys running with their shirts off. I'm like, I'm already starting to get a tan. Even after being here a week, I look where my watch is, and I can see, that it's white where my watch is, and my arms are getting tan just from the bike rides and the other runs I've been doing. So it was great. You're running with your shirt off, and I I am getting a little bit better. I didn't have to stop for a run at all. I was able to kind of keep running through, albeit really slow, but think I'm making progress. My heart rate, it might be a little bit higher. I was a little concerned because I upped my Manjaro a little bit, ever so slightly. I noticed that I was craving more kind of food, but more craving having a few beers and things like that. So I upped it an mg, and it was like an immediate sort of boom. You don't want to eat too much anymore. And I think also I'm still 10 pounds away from where I want to be. And the one thing, when you run down the beach with your shirt off, and there's all these houses that, they have the glass doors and things like that. So you can kind of look out the side of your eye, and you can see, when you have no shirt on and you're looking into like literally, a window mirror, you can tell whether or not, you need to lose any weight. I definitely could lose 10 pounds. My face is fine. It looks thinner, but when you get to the stomach area, there's still a little bit of there's at least 10 pounds that can be lost. So got that done. The one thing as I was running, like, this is different. Last year we stayed in the Hollywood Hills, which is a whole different vibe. Like, the place that we stayed at was the foothills of the Hollywood Hills. If you know where Runyon Canyon is, that we're right around there near Outpost Estates, where there's that Magic Castle. So if you know where the Magic Castle was, we weren't far from there. So we're very close walking distance to the, Hollywood Boulevard. And it was just a really, really interesting, cool stay, because it's like completely different than anything you could ever imagine when you're in those Hollywood Hills. There's houses around, but everything, your yard is your yard. There's, where we were, it was so private, yet there's people all around you. I'm sure that people could live there 20 years and not know who their neighbor is that lives right beside them. But what's different here is, of course, we're on an island in Balbo Island, which is pretty cool as well. It's a different environment. It's kind of private, but at the same time very beach-like. It's in the summer, the population goes up over double. I think they said it's like 33,000 or 4,000 in the off season, and then it doubles up. And it's just a really cool vibe, different. What I found when we were in the Hollywood Hills, it was tough. Mind you, I was 243 pounds. So back a year ago, I was off the rails. I was 50 pounds heavier. I was drinking almost every single day. It was a different world, but I did go out believe it or not, I did go out for some runs, and I did do some walking and hiking around Runyon Canyon. And I did go on my bike. I brought my bike for 3 months. I was on the bike, I think 3 or 4 times. And I was very nervous to ride my bike anywhere other than Griffith Park, although I did some on Mulholland Drive, which I'm going to do this time. I was so afraid before, and since I came back this past year, I was watching a lot of videos and tons of cyclists. I was just paranoid for really no reason. And I was overweight and I was very afraid of, it's very hilly. That's one thing I didn't expect was how much hills there is. I guess I should have when you hear Hollywood Hills, but for some reason I didn't expect or think there was going to be that much hills. Anyway, here, whole different type of training. Every single road, it seems like, and I'm talking every road, and like 3-lane busy roads, every road has a bike lane, and not just a bike lane, but a bike lane that has 2 lines separating it. So many cities, will have a bike lane and there's 1 line and there's a bike lane and here's the road. Here there's like 1 line, 1 line. So it's, if you ever go to Costco when you park cars, they, in their parking lots, they have 2 lines in between the cars. So, it's even better. It's the exact same here. Every single road, Pacific Coast Highway, Jamboree, which is a main one, everywhere you go. So the only disadvantage is that there's a lot of stop sign or stoplights. So as you're riding, you have to stop and then, get going again. And then the other thing that they have a lot here is a lot of trails. So like that, this is where there's no traffic whatsoever. And, it goes like kind of park-like settings and along, waterways and things like that. The disadvantage on that, there's always a pro and a con, is what I don't like about that is when you're going under the bridges, because there's a lot of bridges or roads, you kind of breaks your rhythm. There's something that's good about just riding and you're getting a good rhythm and you're staying constant. But then when you have to go down a little under a bridge and then up the bridge and then kept going, and sometimes, there's, it's just one of those things. It's like not a big deal. So the one thing though is I'm on these meetup group things. I signed up and they have biking meetup groups and running meetup groups. So I've been getting some emails and maybe next weekend I may do it. They'll have meetup groups where they meet somewhere and they'll go on a bike ride, a 30-mile bike ride. And they'll say, you've got to be decent enough to cycle between 15 to 18 miles an hour, which is, like basically if you can, at the top end, they're doing 30 kilometers an hour. So if you can do 26 to 30 average, you're going to be fine. So I'm thinking of going and joining one of those groups, or going just because they're going to know some different routes that I could take, because there's just so much here. It's and right now I'm just doing the Pacific Coast Highway and I'm doing, one area, and I'm sure I'm missing out on a lot of other stuff. The other thing I noticed too, when I look on the YouTube videos of people, it seems like people will also just, I like riding out of my door. I find like if I had to put my bike in the car and drive somewhere, that's, it's kind of like a real time waster. But it seems here that that's what people often do. I guess they'll, drive, like I see some people in Orange County that'll drive all the way to, Los Angeles or, Santa Monica area and go riding there, which, it could be a good hour or so to get there and then an hour back. So, there must be stuff here in Orange County that I may have to drive 20 or 30 minutes to get to. And I'm prepared I will. I don't want to, but I'm prepared to do it because I don't want to pass up seeing a lot of this really good area. There's one I've got on Ruvi, which is like Strava, or like Zwift rather, Ruvi. There's one in Orange County. I've got to look it up on the TV because it was just such a beautiful ride. And Ruvi, the way it works is they video the actual roads and then you're superimposed on there. So it looks like you're riding that road. And it was just beautiful countryside. So I've got to find that. But yeah, just heaven doing this run. And, Alice and I were talking. She says, yeah, it's much different here than it is in the Hollywood Hills. We really like the Hollywood Hills because it's like a different world. And then, when you're there 3 months, you go to the same Ralph's grocery store, you get to see the same people, and it was just cool. Here, it's great, but different. The one thing though is the exercising, training, all that sort of stuff is it's awesome here. Just awesome. So after work tonight, or after I finished up today, we didn't do much. We went out to a local cantina. We took the ferry across to the beach, and there was one part of the boardwalk we hadn't been down, so we went down there in this place, Casa Cantina, and we just sat in there. Uh, had a couple of soft tacos, a couple of drinks, and then they had the worst TV on though. They were like great big TVs all over. You're kind of hoping it would be football games, or oh, it's not going to be football right now, but NBA or whatnot. But it was, yeah, it was like women's basketball college, women's gymnastics college, and then men's basketball college. And yeah, it was fun watching the gymnastics. So that's one sport, women's gymnastics. I was thinking that's one where you don't see any trans men trying to get into women's gymnastics. So anyway, the evening was, we just hung out, went down to the beach, took the ferry across, had some dinner, a couple of soft tacos. We're at that age now that we share our meals. We started to, because we'll order 2 meals each, and it's like too much food. So we ordered just a plate of soft tacos, 2 soft tacos, and we couldn't even finish those. So a little bit of money savings there. Anyway, that's Friday. Tomorrow, bike ride, over and out, retraining pain. Have a good one.